Hi everybody, welcome back to Sunshine Soap and Candle Company. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make a hydrating lip butter 2 different ways. Lip butters are especially great for the wintertime months, so I thought it would be a great time to share these 2 formulas with you. They provide a nice barrier to your lips against the wind and the elements, and they also are very hydrating and nourishing. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a full step-by-step visual process and tutorial of how to put together both of these lip butters. And if you would like both recipes with percentages, amounts, and a full step-by-step written detailed tutorial, head over to my Patreon campaign where you'll be able to access both of these formulas at just the $5 level. If you haven't had a chance to check out my campaign yet, I really hope that you'll make 2024 your year to do that. There's so much to take advantage of over there. Just at the $5 level, you have access to hundreds of recipes and tutorials in the hair care, skincare, and candle making areas. I build upon those recipes every week, sometimes twice weekly, so there's really a ton to take advantage of over there. And for $5, it's really, to me, the best deal on the internet, so I hope you'll go and check it out. We also offer other tiers, each with their own exclusive benefits. We offer things like live monthly hangouts, quarterly classes, and monthly gift packages, coupon codes to my favorite suppliers, and so much more. I'm going to place the link again in the description box below for you, so I hope you'll check it out. All right, let's get started. All right, so as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be making 2 different types of lip butter, and the first one we're going to make is more of a balm-like consistency, and it has a glossy finish to it, and the second one is going to be an actual whipped lip butter. So we're going to start off by just making the one that's more balm-like first, and everything's going to go into the same container. It's super easy to make. So we're just going to go ahead and weigh off some beeswax first. Now beeswax is going to add some hardness to this formula, and it's also going to act as a protective barrier to your lips. It's going to give you some nice gloss and protection. All right, now if you would prefer to stay with a vegan formula, you can use a different type of wax. There's things like candelilla wax, and there's also vegan beeswax alternatives that you can use. However, just know that it will change the final outcome, so you may have to play around with your ratios a little bit. So we're going to tear this out and then next add in some bellina wax. Now, bellina wax is a derivative of beeswax, and this is going to add some nice glide and shine to this product. And also with the beeswax and the bellina wax, it's going to bring some nutrients and vitamins to the product. So we're going to go ahead and add in some bellina. Again, this is going to help add shine, and it's going to help with the overall feel of it, with the glide. And it does help with hardness as well. All right. Next, we're going to be adding in the butters. Now we're adding a fair amount of butter because this is a lip butter. So we're going to go ahead and start with some shea butter first. Shea butter is very hydrating, very nourishing. It's got a really good skin feel. It's a little on the greasier side of things, but for a lip butter, it's absolutely gorgeous, especially in conjunction with these other ingredients that we're using. So as you can see, we're going in with quite a bit of shea. There we go. And then the next butter we're going to be adding in is some mango butter. Mango butter is high in antioxidants, a lot like cocoa butter. It's a more brittle butter, so it's got a higher melt point. See that? And it's also going to help with the hardness of this formula, as well as its nutrient and antioxidant property. You could actually just apply mango butter straight to your lips. However, adding it to a formula like this makes it even nicer. You could use cocoa butter in its place. There we go. And now it's time to go in with our liquid oils. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this out of the way. And then we're gonna be placing in a high amount of castor oil. Castor oil is gonna give it a little bit of a viscous feel to it. And this, I would not swap the castor oil out in this formula for any other type of oil. This is what's gonna give it its sheen, its viscosity, and it's also nutrient dense, and it's a very skin loving and friendly oil. So we're gonna go ahead and just slowly pour. This is easy to over pour on the castor oil because it's very thick. So we're just gonna go slow and easy. There we go. And the next liquid oil we're going to be adding is some apricot kernel oil. Now you can sub this oil out for any other type of light carrier oil that you like. Apricot kernel oil is a lightweight oil. It's also got some good antioxidant property to it. Just a little bit more. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and heat this up and melt down the butters and the waxes. Then after that, we're just going to go ahead and add a little bit of flavor and some vitamin E. We don't want to heat up the flavor oil or the vitamin E, so we will put that in after this is all melted down. All right, everything is melted down now. We're sitting at right around 170 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't want to get it much warmer than that because I don't want to scorch my shea butter. So I'm just going to give this a good stir, make sure everything's kind of incorporated. And then I'm going to add in some flavor oil. So for this one, I'm going to be using a vanilla mint flavor oil. This came from Brambleberry. And so you just have to make sure that you're using something lip safe when you're adding a flavor or a fragrance to this type of product. There we go. The vanilla mint smells really good. You can swap this out for maybe like a lavender and some peppermint. Again, just make sure you're following usage rates. If you're going to be swapping it out for anything else, just check the usage rates and make sure that you're not adding too much. And then the last thing we're going to do is just add in some vitamin E for its antioxidant properties. Just a little bit. There we go. I'm going to give this a good stir. Get my scale moved out of the way. And just get a little spatula here. I'm going to scrape the sides with my little spatula, just making sure everything gets incorporated back in. There we go. One more stir. So we do not have to add a preservative here because this is an anhydrous formula, meaning it's just oil-based, oil and wax-based. There's no water being incorporated in here. so you don't need to add a preservative. So I just have these 1 ounce PET containers. This would probably work in a traditional like chapstick type container as well. And we're just pouring in. And that one's just partially filled up. I knew that was going to happen because 100 grams is not quite 4 ounces, so that one will just be for my personal use. So we're going to go ahead and just move these off to the side, and then we'll get going on the second formula. All right, now we're ready to get going on the second formula. This one is going to be an actual whipped consistency. So this one I would feel safe shipping it to customers over the wintertime months, but I would be a little nervous to ship this in the really hot summertime months. So I wanted to give you 2 different options here. So we're going to go ahead, and this one is all in the same container like the last one, but there's an additional step here with the oils and the butters, because we're not going to be melting down the shea butter, but we do need to melt down some cocoa butter. So, and we're going to combine that with some liquid oils. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and weigh off some cocoa butter. I just have these cocoa butter pastilles. These are from Brambleberry. They're easy to weigh off. All right, and I'm using, this is deodorized, I think. It still has a faint little chocolatey smell to it, but it is a deodorized cocoa butter. So you can use the undeodorized. It smells a lot more like chocolate if you like. That can be nice sometimes too, just all by itself. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and add in some rice bran oil. I like the rice bran oil in this formula because it's high in antioxidants. You can use any other type of light carrier oil. Sunflower oil would be a good substitute. The cocoa butter here is going to add hardness and also high antioxidant properties. I'm putting everything in this mixing bowl because we are going to be whipping it in this bowl. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is just heat up this formula until the cocoa butter is melted down and incorporated with the rice bran oil, and then we're going to incorporate some shea butter. So I'll bring you back when this is all melted down. All right, so the cocoa butter is now all melted down with that rice bran oil, and we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of color to this one. You can certainly add color to the other formula too, if you like. We're going to be adding in a little bit of this cotton candy lip safe mica. This came from TKB Trading. Again with the lip safe, these are kind of hard to open. Again with the lip safe items, not all mica colorants are lip safe, so you just want to make sure whatever colorant you're adding in to your formula that it is rated as lip safe. Okay, let's just get this bag open here. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and place about less than a teaspoon. It's not going to add any color to your lips. It's just going to add a little bit of color to the product and give you a tiny bit of shimmer. It looks like a lot, but to add color to your lips in this type of product, you have to add a lot more mica than that. Okay, so I've got the cotton candy mica incorporated, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in some flavor oil and vitamin E. So for this one, we're going to be using TKB's mixed berry flavor oil. Again, lip safe. This one has a handy little nozzle on it, making it really easy for weighing off. And then we're going to go ahead and add in some vitamin E for the antioxidant properties. This will also help to extend the shelf life of your oils. Giving this a good stir, mixing that all in. Then we're going to go ahead and add in our shea butter. So let me go ahead and get that moved over here. So the shea butter is going to help this to become nice and whipped. Shea butter is a very versatile butter in that way where it can be whipped into like a very fluffy texture. If you're using harder type butters in place of, if you want to replace the shea butter with something else, just know that your whipped consistency is also going to change. So this type of consistency here I find the best, and also your ratios. So all right, now we're just going to go ahead and get our electric mixer and whip this to perfection. I'm just using a little handheld mixer here. I'm going to start on low and just start getting that shea butter incorporated. With the oils being warm, it's easier to incorporate the shea butter. So going to keep this on low until we kind of break up that shea butter, and then I'll increase the speed. The important thing with whipping here is there's a balance. You don't want to whip for too long because then you're going to incorporate heat and the product it'll melt instead of what you want to do is incorporate air. So we want to whip it for just the right amount of time. You don't want to add so much friction with the whipping that it just deflates. So start out slow. Now I'm going to turn my mixer up. This is what it looks like now. Now, how big you whip this is entirely up to you. I don't whip it super big because I don't want it to deflate, and also I find when you whip a whole bunch of air into a product like this, it doesn't feel as substantial on your lips. But I'm going to stop here and take the temperature. It's right at 80 degrees, which I find to be like the perfect temperature to get this whipped to the volume that I like. So I'm going to continue to whip this until it gets a little bit bigger. So that's the consistency I like when I'm whipping this. I like it to look and feel much like a buttercream frosting. This will set up a little bit over the next 24 hours as well. So at this point, we're just going to go ahead and place it in a piping bag. You could just scoop it into your containers, but I think this is an easy way to put it into the containers. It's cleaner and it looks cuter. So that's what it looks like. The temperature right now, and I'll show you a finished one, is still right around 80 degrees. I'll show you a finished one so you can see what the final consistency looks like. But we're just going to go ahead and get a clean spatula and fill up this piping bag. See that? It just looks a lot like buttercream frosting. Oh, and it looks edible, to be honest. Okay. I'm just going to kind of twist and squeeze this down. These bags aren't the best because they don't really allow you to squeeze the product down like I like. Okay, so we're just going to get these containers. I'm going to twist my bag down. Since these are so small, I find it easier to just kind of hold it while I pipe. I pipe a little dollop in the middle. See that? This is the tip I'm using. Let's see if I can see that. It's just kind of like a decorative piping tip. Okay, at this point I kind of like to tap it down a little bit. There we go. And just make sure I get my container nice and full. All right, so this again filled up 4 and partially a 5th one. So we're gonna go ahead and put on the little lids. I was having a little bit of issues with my piping bag on this batch. I think it might have gotten a little bit clogged, so I didn't get that beautiful piped look, but I'll show you on some other finished ones too, but it still looks really nice, and of course it's very nourishing. So we're just gonna go ahead and pop the lids on. And of course, once you pop the lid on, you know, it does cover up that top piped section there. So I did put some labels together for these, so I'm going to show you what that looks like as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and put a little label on these. So we're going to go ahead and start with the mixed berry ones first. So this is the OL950 label from onlinelabels.com. And I did do most of the work on the labels on onlinelabels.com. I did take from Canva, I designed a little bit of it on Canva, this background with the berries. And then I moved that over to Online Labels, imported it over to onlinelabels.com, and put it onto this label template, and then added in the words. And that's how that turns out. Super cute, right? So this OL950, of course, fits this container perfectly. When you're trying to find a label that fits your containers, you just measure your container with a ruler, like where the width and everything of where you want to put your label, and then enter those dimensions in. If you're using onlinelabels.com, you can just enter the dimensions in, and it'll pull up labels that fit your specs. And then you just order the ones that fit. All right, and then here's the other ones. They're warm, but they are set up. So we're gonna go ahead and place the labels on those as well. This is how they look. And then the same thing, I just designed the background on Canva and moved it over to Online Labels. And that's how that one looks. Super cute, right? If you didn't already know, I did launch a new channel this week as well. My first video went live on Monday. You can link to my channel, my new channel from this channel. It's called Everyday with Sunshine. So I hope you'll go check it out. It's just some slice of life type videos. All right, everybody, that is how you make lip butter 2 different ways from start to finish. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Please leave me some comments or questions below. Share this video with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. All right, everybody, catch you on the next video. Keep shining. Bye.